I'd love to welcome the First Lady and Governor Tim Walz to the stage. It's
a lot of old friends. Wow. It's Al. Al's. Wow. Thank you all. It's good morning, First CD. Good morning to all the folks who drove today. Those poets are wrong. You can go home. You can go back. They're wrong. Just a huge thank you. Madam Chair, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for putting the values of the people of the First District as a priority and understanding that the incredible gift of this country and the blessings that it come with responsibilities. And one of those responsibilities is being engaged in your government. And you also have, you have a constitutional right to address your government for a redress of grievances, and I think we have a few grievances that we might want to bring up. But you didn't come here to complain. You came here to lift up and understand that each generation of Americans and each generation of Minnesotans and each generation of folks in southern Minnesota have a responsibility to lift up the things we care deeply about. And you came here, you love the country, you love freedom. Freedom of speech, freedom that comes with it. That is important. And now, I've been saying, I think it's very important. Everybody says they love freedom, but we need to be very clear here. If you truly love freedom, that means freedom for every one of us, not just some. Everyone. Because I'm going to help them out with this, that if you love freedom but want to repress others' rights, you're not talking about loving freedom. What you love is privilege, and that's very different. Very different. So, it's appropriate we're here. Some of you don't know, I've had a long time, the First Lady and it was the First Lady who recruited him, a young man, a graduate of John Marshall High School. Chris Smitter has been my chief of staff the entire time I've been doing this. So, and to check my Rochester bona fides, my incredible sister-in-law, Julie Walz, is a member of the Rochester Public Schools as a teacher. Because this is about family, and when your last name is Walz, you take a lot of crap for that. So just so you know that you get it there. But we are incredibly grateful. I'm grateful for here, and we're going to go through sets of questions. This is the most American thing you can do. This is the street corner, the soapbox. This is in the bar. This is in your workplaces. As we discuss how do we want our country to look together. And I just want to be very clear on this. I'm not here to personally criticize. These guys do this a lot. I mean, they want to sue me, now they want to fight me, they want to do whatever. I'm not here to personally criticize, but I am here to criticize that you need to do your damn job if you're going to have this. You need to meet with people. And two things, they're like, well, Governor, you have another job. They're worried what I'm doing on Saturdays. I just want to be clear. The folks up at the Capitol on the other side of the aisle need to worry what their members are doing on the weekend, not what I'm doing on the weekends. That's what they need to do. But the reason I feel so passionate, and I know there's some of you out there, I stood on this very stage in September of 2009 to a packed house, many people who were unhappy because we were debating health care and the ACA, and I did a 3-hour town hall moderated by Republican Senator Dave Durenberger, and we stood on this stage and took all questions about the ACA. Now, the reason I had no problem doing this, and the reason that I am convinced they don't want to do these town halls, because I was proud to defend the right to expand health care. I was proud to stand on the ACA. I think it would be a lot harder for them to stand on this stage and defend cutting Medicaid, gutting our public schools, threatening Social Security. This space is available to face all of you. Your congressman needs to come here and tell us why it is okay for, tell us why. Tell us why. If you again, there is nothing personal, and you're not asking anything. Here's the thing. If what Elon Musk is doing is so wonderful, stand here and get cheered for it. Stand here and get cheered for it. If you think that getting rid of the Department of Education and putting our children, if I could ask on this, all of those folks in here who have or are or have someone in their family who's teaching public schools, raise your hand, let us know. Yeah. And all of you who've had a child that has benefited from that, and those of us like Gwen and I who have benefited the incredible work that our teachers do with students who need a little extra help and who have an IEP and have the ability to get it. That's right. So, this is not about protest. This is not about resistance. This is about democracy. You were elected under Article 1 of the Constitution. You appropriate the dollars as a member of Congress. Why in the hell would you give away your power and let an unelected official make those decisions? That's right. Don't give it away. So for all of you, and I don't know, I said this, I heard it, and we're doing these because I heard it and people talking to me as we watch what's going on, and it's like a slow motion train wreck in front of us happening, and understanding it's our responsibility, and people were screaming, do something, and do something. And let's be very clear, people are doing something. You're showing up on this beautiful first day of fall spring number 3 to be here. You came, you could be doing stuff, but you came here because you know that's what you can do. And so for elected officials, you don't get to say, well, we're not in the majority, we really can't do anything. That's not good enough. That we have a platform, even if it is giving the microphone. Now, I'm going to say this. I feel pretty blessed because I get to work with Andy and Kim and Tina and Liz, who get things done. Who, let's be very clear, they do things very well because let's just be very honest. We've got a firewall here in Minnesota that was put up by a bunch of good legislators who said, you know what? We think women should make their own health care decisions. We said. We said, and they should have the courage to take the vote, we said we would rather vote and have our tax dollars feed our children. That I do think, and Donald Trump has said it, I think it challenges them when we're critical thinkers. I think it challenges them when we think for ourselves. I think it challenges them when we have educated population. Because look, we're living in a world right now, they cut the Department of Education and we have a measles outbreak. But just by the way, we have more people with measles than violent criminals than they deported, just so you know where the focus is of what's happening. So safety comes in a lot of ways. This issue around safety and education. People who know education, you know that education is local. We've got school board members, I'm sure, that are here, folks that have been engaged in this. We know that curriculum is the state and local level. Teacher standards are state and local level. Teacher staffings are things that you negotiate together. Those are all very local. So people who don't know this, we've done a poor job of telling them, of people who care about education, care about the great American contribution, public education, which is the envy of the world. We haven't told them what the Department of Education does. The Department of Education makes sure that as those local decisions are being made, that we go back to how we started this. Freedom for every child to get a quality education, to protect them all. And look, before the Department of Education, you needed state troopers to escort Ruby Bridges or the folks in Little Rock to get into the school because the locals said, well, this child's not going to go, and we kind of know why. The same thing is happening now. I heard Ohio legislators say these kids are too expensive to educate who have special needs. Look, I appreciate them saying the quiet part out loud, that they said it and they know that. But I don't believe that's where the American heart is. So I would tell you this, we are struggling and trying to figure it out. Our payments from the federal government have stopped and started numerous times during this chaotic period. We pay more. We're one of the states, we pay far more into the federal government than the state of Minnesota gets back. We're payers. We're payers. And look, I'm more than happy to help other states if they're putting that money into education. I'm not interested in giving our tax dollars to states like Iowa who then take it and give vouchers and cut under public education. That's not right. So, thanks to Andy and Kim and Tina and Liz, Minnesota put a historic amount of money into education and especially focused to make sure that local school districts would have the resources necessary. But with that being said, if the federal government takes away that right, and again, they moved student loans, I guess, over to SBA and all of this, which many of us are very confused where it's going. And so what I would say to each and every one of you, Minnesota will do our very best to firewall this thing. I will do the very best to make sure that we're protecting and we will follow the law. But I will tell you this, the congressman from this district needs to stand in front of you and tell you he will protect those special ed dollars. So it's not super comforting, but the reality of this is not a drill, folks. It is now happening. Now, here's the good news. And again, thank God we're in Minnesota, and I have one of the best relationships with the Attorney General who is suing them to make sure that that doesn't happen. Attorney General Ellison. We're in court because, look, you all know it. What he did in that executive order he signed in front of a fake damn classroom. You know, there's hundreds of thousands of them. Go find one and go into one if you think you're going to cut the money. Go into one. So they create this, but he does not have the authority to get rid of what was done by Congress to put into place. So he can't do it. So next. All right. Good.
Our next question comes from Jennifer Smith from Dundas regarding Elon Musk. Jennifer, are you here?
I've been to Dundas a lot to that dang soccer dome.
I just wanted to know what can we possibly do about Elon Musk, because it's not right.
It is not right. Look, I have been at it with this guy, and I just want to be clear. All of you know me, and it's I own this or whatever. And I told the folks last fall when I was on the 90-day Eras tour there that this was part of it. That I don't use a teleprompter, I don't speak from notes, and I try and speak from the experiences I've had with other people on this. And this guy bugs me in a way that is probably unhealthy. And but I have to be careful about being a smartass. I was making a joke. These people have no sense of humor. They are the most literal people. But my point was they're all mad, and I, said something I didn't, probably shouldn't have about a company. He is agreed. So I make the case. They're all butthurt about the Tesla thing, but they don't care the disrespect they have shown to employees at the Minneapolis VA who care for our veterans, and they fire them. They don't care. So, yes. So here, all of us, we will have the conversation about efficiency in government and about doing that. But none of us believe for a second they're thinking about this. Oh, we fired everybody that's dealing with Ebola. And then he went into the Oval Office wearing a hat. I don't ever want to hear anybody talk about decorum and respect or that. Wearing a hat, coming in there, richest man in the world. Again, this maybe is just me. If I'm the richest man in the world, I'm like out on the streets handing out the money. It'd be fun as hell just to help people out. Go help people out. Not this guy. And the idea that he can come in and make these decisions, the idea that there's any thought behind this, they fire him, they bring him back. H5N1, they cut that for bird flu. They're telling us now, inappropriately, that you can't catch that through animal transmissions. Of course you can. Those things they're going to happen. With that being said, here's how I believe we do this. This is the way it always is. We make sure that the public understands how truly unpopular this guy is. He's super unpopular. And we make it a liability for Trump, because here's the thing. Donald Trump's loyalty to those around him lasts as long as they're useful to him. The minute they're no longer useful, gone. So I think the pressure is on this, because you're seeing it. People who voted for Donald Trump, they're even saying, some of them, not enough, some of them are even saying, well, I didn't vote for Elon Musk. I didn't vote for him to do this. And I think this, again, there's two conversations here. What they're doing, how we fight back. And then there's the conversation that, look, I'm at the center of and own it. How in the hell did we lose to these people with these ideas? What happened? What happened that they sided with the billionaire and the hedge fund manager over the county attorney and the public school teacher? They chose that choice, and why is that? And I think we have to be more forceful. We have to be more forceful about what we're going to do, because I have been saying this with a guy like Musk as they're flirting around the edges. Somebody in here is going to stand up and talk about health care. And can we just all agree on this, that health care, and I say it every time, health care is a human right. We are going to do it. Health care has to be universal. All right. But how did we as Democrats allow health care to be dependent on a 12-hour period in November every 4 years of who wins the election, whether you keep it or not? And so I think the antidote to Elon Musk is hold him accountable, make him super unpopular. But I think there's a separate track on here showing these people that instead of cutting those people at the VA, here's what we're going to do with the VA. Instead of cutting our schools, here's what we're going to do with the schools. And then actually follow through, because there's a lot of young people here. My heart breaks for this. The folks who were self-aware enough in this room, who their first real thing was the big meltdown in the housing bubble, and then the rise of Tea Party and Trump, and then COVID-19, and then, oh, this is over, and now it's back again. Let's all agree in this room that it's a hell of a lot easier to be a kid when they were my age than it is right now for these people to the past. Hell of a lot. So make him unpopular, fight back. You got it. Oh, I did not mention, some of you know this, during the COVID pandemic, and thank to everyone in here. Folks involved in healthcare, any of our healthcare systems here in Rochester, could you raise your hands too? All right, thank you. One thing I am most proud of is the state of Minnesota is one of the states that had the lowest death rates. That's because we listened to the experts who are here. And nobody wants to remember this, the 5th year anniversary. My team says, don't ever talk about COVID. People hate it. Well, no shit, I hate it. It's terrible. But we did it, and we came through hard stuff together. And I said this, I became dear friends over about a 9-month period where every single day we were trying to put out the best information, but we wanted to convey that to all Minnesotans. And the way we did that to the deaf, hard of hearing, was through Nick, who did this. So great.
All right, our next question comes from Heather Adamson Dillon from Rochester regarding veterans. Are you here, Heather?
See her? Somebody else want to ask a veteran question? Yeah, go ahead.
Governor, I'm a disabled combat veteran.
Yeah.
My entire life, don't clap for that. My entire livelihood
Major.
is dependent upon the VA. I need the VA. My dad back there in the black sweatshirt needs the VA. Your veterans and your families, we need the VA.
Yay.
It's a sergeant major.
Yeah.
What are you going to do to defend mine as a specialist? My brother's is a corporal. My dad's is a corporal.
Yeah.
What are you going to do to defend us, Governor?
Yeah, thank you. And Specialist is right. The issue is we got into America on this, that you think it's okay to say thank you for your service and then crap on them on their benefits or not deliver. That's the thing. So at the VA, and just so you know what's happening here, and the real danger at the VA is they've tried this. They tried it when I was a ranking member on the House VA. They want to privatize the VA. They want to privatize the VA because it serves several purposes. It serves several purposes to them because the VA flies in the face that you can have universal health care that's delivered at cost effective at a better rate. The VA, Mayo folks will tell you this, the VA is the best healthcare system in the country. It stands alongside Mayo, Cleveland Clinic, and others because of the service and the specialization. But you know what it is? It does cost some money because it costs to go to war, not just to buy the bombs, the bullets, and to pay for them. The cost of war is borne out over a long period of a lifetime. So in Minnesota, and I just want to tell you just one example of what's at risk. Minnesota made a commitment when we came into office that we were going to bring functional zero or basically end veterans homelessness. That we had the resource, we had the ability to do it. We had a